Well, I'm sure you guys missed us from our 6 hour break today from our normal 11 o'clock show. We're back here. We have I guess I would say an eerie type show for you guys. At least we're hoping for a little bit of eeriness here. But we have Scary Dad, Scott, and Craig with us to talk about Terror Island, which will be opening up, I believe, September 18th, which is a Saturday, and they're actually going to make it into a mini convention. So there's going to be a lot of fun going on then. So, Amy, how was your last 6 hours?
Well, I mean, besides having to battle my children, okay, those like little gremlins that run around, I've had to battle them. But no, I mean, you guys, seriously, I have been in countdown mode for you guys to come on. When Greg told me that we got you to come on the show, I love the whole concept behind what you guys do, haunted houses. I love that. Halloween. I don't decorate for Halloween, but I like the whole environment of it and just horror movies and everything. So I was just super excited for you guys to come down. You can ask Greg and rewatch our show at 11. I was in countdown mode as much as he's in countdown mode for Esports Summit in Galveston. So I am very excited for you guys to be here, and I'm going to contain my excitement as best I can, but no promises. Okay. No promises.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's good to be here. And yeah, really, it's kind of funny because if you want to roll a lot of things back to the beginning, from where we are now, so I started Scary Dad as a blog back in like 2012. And the reason I started Scary Dad was because I was a home haunter, kind of a wannabe. I wanted to build props and stuff and set them in my yard. And I was looking for an online forum where people would share ideas. And there was one, right? And they were so out there. Like they were semi-professionals and multimillionaires, and was like, I'm just trying to figure out how to make pool noodles look spooky, So I started the blog, and I started a Facebook group called Houston Haunters Retreat. And it was like just a place for people local to talk about their haunts and what was going on and stuff. And then later I met Scott and we started Scary Dad, and the whole project went in kind of a different direction because we started the podcast. We talk about scary movies and books and, all this other stuff that's related. But Craig was one of the early Houston Haunters Retreat members, and he was showing off his stuff, and it was just amazing. I mean, it was just brilliant, but it was also accessible because he'd show you how it was done. It was like the perfect, like I was looking for this guy. And then, so Scott and my like Scary Dad's projects went, this direction. Craig was always doing awesome things just in the periphery as we were doing the conventions. And then he started building Terror Isle, which is the professional haunt. And it was just, it's his dream, but it was like mine too. It's like, I've been watching you, do all this stuff for several years now, and now it gets to culminate into an actual real, professional haunt. So that was kind of my, that's where I've been with it. So now we're like right on the edge of opening, and it's just super, super cool. So I guess that's probably to introduce Craig, because he's sitting over there quietly to talk about what's going on. But yeah, that's so we're super excited as well, because it's awesome.
Yeah,
Craig,
it's hard to compete with podcasters on here. Y'all are pros. So, but I'm an insurance sales guy, so I by profession, so I'm a motor mouth as well. So basically, I started like many of the professional haunted house people as home haunters. So there's kind of, they classify, which is kind of weird, but home haunt, professional haunt, things like that. And some people get their roots from doing it at their house, slowly building little projects with their kids, and it builds up into this huge, massive thing at their houses. And they get to a point where it's like, where do I go with this now? Because either you get so many people on your street that your neighbors either love you or hate you, or it just gets overwhelming. It's a monster that just keeps growing, and every year it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So at that point, many people think about possibly what they call in the haunted house world going pro. And I don't think many people understand what that means financially. It's quite of a journey. But yeah, with Billy, I did one of his conventions doing some tombstones I had, and then I came back I think that next year and taught a class on home haunting. But I've always wanted to get to a point where I could do a professional one. But it was always in the back of my mind, and I studied it. I listened to every podcast. There's some wonderful podcasts up there on home haunting and haunting out there. And so just was a student in the industry, and my oldest child was into it big time too. So it was something we did together. And then we would go to what's called HauntCon, which is a convention for amateur home haunters and professional, and you have classes, and I mean it's like going to haunt college. So I went to a couple of those, and then I just knew what I wanted to do, but I just still didn't pull the trigger. So a couple of years ago, my dad got cancer, and when he was pretty much on his last days, I remember him telling me, he's like, I got to do everything I ever wanted to do. I got no regrets. And it like just hit home. I was like, wow. I was like, this is the one thing that, I've done all kinds of stuff, happy with everything in my life, but it's the one thing I've always wanted to do. So I was like, screw it, I'm doing it. And took that jump. So Billy and I and one of my employees, Justin Harlan, who has been in the haunt business for a long time, got together. I had Billy actually write the backstory. So I really, and I don't know how far you want me to go with this, but
go ahead.
Kind of how a really good haunted house does this is the big boys do it is you write a backstory. It's your blueprint. If you ever been to many haunted houses, you could go into one and there's a room full of clowns. The next room's an insane asylum. The next room is cowboys, and it's just like, what did I just go through? It doesn't have that flow, a fully immersed flow. And we want the full immersed flow. And my guy Justin, who I met also through the internet, from a big time haunt guy that he worked for. I always wanted to do pirates because of the thing that I live on the coast. There aren't any pirate haunts. There's one in San Francisco and maybe a few here and there things, but not a major thing. It's it's always the same kind of themes. So I had Billy get with me and Justin, and we put together a whole backstory. We've got characters. We have, what's the purpose, how it flowed, the whole storyline. And then we took that storyline, which was really cool for Billy, because Billy wrote this thing based on our, 50,000 foot view, and created this whole synergy of how it flows together. We took those ideas and we actually built a physical version of it, which I was so happy when the guys came down to visit when we started doing this, that he got to see like physical, tangible things where he can walk through and go, oh, I know what all this is. And so when you flow through our haunted house, it tells a story. You go into a ship, you crash on the typical pirate story, you crash on the shore, then you go through the jungle, and then, you run into some characters there, and you go through, and the whole process, you're trying to get to the end to take the Pirate King's treasure. So it's a full adventure. So we're trying to use that Disney storytelling, that universal storytelling that you don't see in, the standard haunts. You see them on the big boys, but not on this level. So about a year of construction, 6 days a week, slinging hammers. We're almost done. We are about to get inspected by the fire marshal and the ADA compliance, and it's going to be amazing because this haunted house is also got something quite unique to it. We've actually embedded escape rooms in the haunted house. No one that I know of in this industry does that. Even at the convention, the big convention for haunted houses is called Trans World. And at Trans World, there's a giant section of haunted house stuff. If you see big monster videos on Facebook, they came from that. And then you got an whole another section that's escape room stuff. And it's almost like they're two cultures that just don't come together. And I was thinking about, well, how do I make money when it's not October? So I was like, I'll just put some escape rooms in there. Well, it's a little more complex than that because the logistics of putting escape rooms in a haunted house and fire codes and all these things. And But so we really built two businesses in one. So when it's not October, you have three full-blown haunted escape rooms embedded in a haunted house. Escape rooms generally are not so big on the decorative immersion thing. It's more about puzzles. You're literally in a dungeon trying to get out of dungeon jail cells, trying to get to the next phase, or you're in this area and you're in another world. You're in Disney basically doing physical games and puzzles. So this is something quite unique and a little bit experimental that we think is going to bring both of these worlds together. And the design and layout, by doing this, everything's digital. Our lights, our TVs, our sound, and everything we literally can do through a computer program. We could change it to a Christmas show in 5 seconds, which allows us to treat it more like a game console, and we can insert different games. Hey, we want to do an obstacle course thing. We could toss that in there. We have the set designs. We can change the technology in the whole game, and it allows us to do so many things and then go outside the box even more, teaming up with conventions like this or comic book conventions and things like that, where we can just kind of merge all these worlds together. It's going to be pretty cool. I'll stop there.
Well, I mean, that was quite a miss, and I'm definitely something that I'm looking forward to. One, I've been wanting to do the escape room, which is actually here in the Woodlands, but I mean, why not do a haunted house and an escape room? I mean, that's like twice the fun right there.
Well, and what was cool about it, because he called and he was like, because I've written some stories that were well received, and in the horror genre. So he called and he was like, well, what do you think you can do this? And I was like, well, what are you thinking? So he gave me a kind of, I mean, it was a blueprint, literally. Here's a blueprint. You walk in the front door and you're going to encounter this, and then you're going to go, this way and that way. And these are the little things that you're going to see. So I had to create basically a mythos. So at the end of the day, you've got these undead characters, these nasty creatures that are haunting, Texas City. They're haunting the Gulf Coast. Why are they there? What got them to be the way that they are, And I was like, okay, so, you've got to have the ship, you got to have the standard pirate stuff. You got to have a shipwreck. You got to have a storm. You got to have a shark. You got to have, this stuff. So, I peppered that through there. And then I called him and I was like, okay, look, given the Pirates of the Caribbean and, just I was like, are we doing like Scooby-Doo spooky, or are we doing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre gory? And he's like, chainsaw, because pirates were not nice people. So basically, I mean, you've got some characters in here. I mean, they're headlining characters that are just brutal. I mean, they're Texas Chainsaw. They've got skin hats and they've got pliers, and they're not nice whenever push comes to shove. And so I spent a lot of time really refining it to try to make it as scary as possible. So then when it was sent over and then they started building the sets and he was showing pictures, it was the coolest thing. Because just like, I guess it would be, watching your book become a movie, because, it's got the pirate ship and, not to give anything away, because everything on the inside of this place is amazing. But when you're walking through and you're like that's the little tavern that I described in the story, like right down to like the clapboard, the way it, kind of just the way it, I was like, amazing. So it was, and then the attention to detail is pretty insane. So anybody that goes in there is going to come out somewhat changed. I mean, it's going to change your perception of pirates. It is scary. It is Hollywood. He mentioned Disney. It is that detailed. The attention to detail is that much. So it is really, really going to be cool.
Well, one of the things when we're
go ahead.
One of the things that Amy and I were talking about earlier was the fact that you have to have levels. And I know with levels, it's like, well, all right, now we have to be concerned about people with heart conditions. What kind of warnings do you have to give these people before they go into a haunted house?
Well, so remember, I'm working in parallel universes of escape room and haunted house. So I mean, it even gets down to that kind of stuff. I mean, and that's what really made us take so long on this is these are two different businesses in one building. So in the same rooms. So with haunted houses, typically there's a big giant board, which I have one that has about 8,000 warnings on there about, strobe lights and pregnant, if you're pregnant and this and that. So there's always warnings on those. Most people are pretty, they know what they're getting into. So with escape rooms, it's quite interesting because it's different. When you go to a haunted house, you don't sign a waiver. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to escape room, the first thing they do is hand you this waiver, and it's like totally different universes. I'm like, wait a minute, the haunted house should be the one with the waiver, and the escape room should not, because really there's nothing happening. But it's just people go in expecting to be scared. They're expecting to fall down. They're expecting to run. I mean, there's a whole psychology behind scaring. Scaring is not just jump out and say boo. There are haunted houses that do that, and they're not very good. You have to actually hit more than one sense at one time. If we hit you with a visual thing and then hit you with a sound or a smell, we even have sense. We have dispersing sense that put out smell. We're hitting every single sensory. If you hit someone with one or two, more than one sense, what happens is you get into your reptilian brain and you don't know what to do and you shut down, and that's how you scare someone. There's a deep psychology to this. Even the design of the layout, Justin, my right-hand guy, I had him put the rooms together. There's a whole, you don't even notice it when you're going through, but there's a pattern of scaring people forward. When a haunted house, you don't scare to push the crowd back. You're always pushing them forward because you get bottlenecks and things like that. So there's all these spots, at every single spot you would never notice, but we're like, okay, if this person's standing here, this light's going off, they're going to hit this button, this sound's going off, they can scare them from this angle, the crowd's going to position this way. No one ever thinks about that when we're going through a haunted house, and we do it a little bit different too. There's some haunted houses do what's called park and bark. That's where one person's standing in one spot, they jump out and then they get back in their position. That's how Universal Studios does it. If you ever go to their horror nights, it's amazing. It's mind blowing. But it's different. It's not scary. It's just awe because you're just looking at these amazing sets. But what we do, and some people call it toilet bowl haunting, and it's where you give the actor freedom to roam in a zone. So they have a position where they can jump out this door, scare, back up. Then when that crowd is coming around the corner, you have a window that drops down. So one person can literally hit somebody, not physically, scare them 5 times. 5 times. Yeah, we don't touch, by the way. Don't believe the videos you see on the YouTubes. Anyway, so that's not haunting. That's some weird guy. So basically, we do this positioning. So we have 20 actors, 2 floaters that basically go around and act, but also they're bathroom relief people. And those 20 people are going to hit you probably, we're going to scare you 100 times with 20 people. And they have more fun. They're more creative. They're more of a character with Billy's backstory. We train them on who you are. We give them some freedom to kind of come up with catch lines. We train them in that position, but we give them this freedom to be an actor, to really get into it rather than just bounce out and say boo or get out. If you say those things, those are fireable offenses. They're not scary. They're not scary. Yeah, they're played out. So it really, that storyline really doesn't mean a lot, and the big haunts do that. And with the escape room thing, like you're saying, it's a totally different game. We tone it down. There's not people jumping out. You cannot scare in an escape room because people can't think when they're scared. So we do have an option. You could pay and we'll fire up all the monsters to pop out when you're playing if you want. But some people don't want that. They just want to play the puzzles. They're there for the games. So we give them flexibility through electronics. Yeah.
Wow. I like that option. I'm all about it. Like, if I'm going to go through a haunted house, then I want to, come home and have nightmares, make it worth my time. Yep. I want to have nightmares, that's my whole thing. Maybe that's why I avoid the really scary ones, because I know I'm not going to be able to sleep for a week. So that could possibly be one. But man, okay, so a whole lot of information has been thrown at me, and I'm very excited about it. I wish I could just go to it. I would get someone to watch my kids because they're too young. They're 2 and 1. I mean, they there'd be traumatized. Okay, but I'm like so. Okay, so I will totally come to this, and hopefully I don't get so scared where I punch someone. Okay, so just I'll wear a hula hoop, so everyone kind of leaves me alone, so I don't hurt anybody. But okay. So a lot of thought has really gone into this to separate it from just the average haunted house, right? I mean, obviously, you guys are super passionate about this whole thing. So I want to know because on the website, it is like I guess a con in a sense because you are doing vendors. So how do the vendors kind of play in? Is it just like they're going to be as you're walking through it? Or are they all at the end? How does that come into play?
So Scott and I went different directions. So Craig was off building haunts, and Scott and I started Scary Dad's Haunted Halloween Show, which was a vendor-driven convention that was horror themed. And our original vision for it was very, think about the fall festivals that you went to as a kid, so you had the cotton candy and then you had maybe a clown and you had, entertainment going on at the same time as you had kind of the vendor interaction.
Right.
And so that was what we were working on. And then over the last couple of years, we've kind of just fell in with different folks and done different things. And so this is kind of just back to our roots. This is the original kind of Scary Dad's show. It's the gateway to the spooky season.
Okay.
We're in the parking lot directly across the street from the haunt.
Okay.
So we're gathering up all these vendors to come out and sell their stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of different kinds already, but a lot of artists and artisans, and we've got a what is the word? Tarot reader. Somebody is going to do, have a tent where they're doing tarot, reaching out, trying to find some acrobats and some just different things to kind of beef it up.
Yeah.
So the festival is across the street, and the way that it's going to work is this is a celebration. We're celebrating the grand opening of the haunt. So if you want to come to the festival, so if haunt's not your thing, but you just want to get out and get some, hit the food trucks and see some of the sights, it's like $5 to get in, and you can wander around and shop the vendors, because in this kind of a model, we want the vendors to make the money. We're more doing it to support Craig here and Terror Isle, and we've got other things going on down the road and stuff. So it is very much more of a vendor driven Halloween show.
Nice.
And then so you buy your ticket to the haunt, you buy your ticket to the festival, and then we don't have a whole lot of them left, so they're limited to 50. We'd sold near half whenever I'd last checked, but we've got a VIP that gives you a lights on behind the scenes tour before the show.
Oh.
So
Okay.
So if you're interested in seeing,
this is going to be really cool. It's going to be really cool. So the behind the scenes, the first hour of the whole show being open, myself and another one of my guys, Dalton, will lead groups through, and lights on, you see behind the curtain. This is one of my favorite things ever to do, nerding out on haunted houses. A lot of haunted houses love to do this for revenue reasons, but they love showing off their toys. So you come in, we show you all the tricks, we show you behind the curtain, we show you how things are done, we show you all the monsters, how they work, how people haunt there, how things are built, and you get to see everything. We don't, in the haunt industry, it's interesting because the culture is we share. That's how we feel like we're going to make things better. Because if you look at stuff from 20 years ago, it's nowhere near what it is now. And it's because we actually have a really strong group all over the country that if I need something, I can go on the Facebook group and go, hey, I'm looking for this, or hey, do y'all know someone like this? And that's, in fact, that's how I found my main builder. I have a builder from New Orleans that he's unreal. Darkwood Designs. This guy, I found him through there. So we share. Escape room's different. You post a question on their pages, you never hear anything. It's a new industry. They haven't quite. I don't think, because the industry's so new and escape room games aren't that old. I don't think they had that kind of synergy yet. But that behind the scenes tour is going to be really cool because you get to see everything. We don't hide anything, so we'll show you everything. It'll really be fun for those people that love haunted houses. Always wanted to see how the magic works.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
I love that. That's cool. I think it's cool how escape room's not going to share anything because it's a puzzle to figure out the answer that you want. They want you to, work that puzzle. But okay, so a ton of I am just trying to visualize what this could potentially look like from your guys' description. And I mean, it's going to be really just cool. I mean, cool doesn't even define it. I wish there's other language that I would use that would define it, and I'm not going to. That's for sure.
F yeah. F yeah.
Whatever you're imagining right now, go ahead and multiply it by 10. Because
okay.
I've done the behind the scenes tour of this place, and I have to say it's the attention to detail and the way it absolutely just submerged. It's a fully submersive experience. When you walk into there, you are no longer in Texas City. You are on Terra Isle. It's really amazing the job that Craig has done with this. And like I said, I've never seen a haunt with this much detail and immersion placed into it. I mean, you're in this huge building. From the outside, it just looks like this huge building, and you walk in, and you are in a totally different world all of a sudden. Just his use of his electronics and everything else. It's an experience you don't want to miss for sure.
Yeah,
and you have to
really
realize
cool something really.
I was gonna say what you have to realize too. When we were there were people hammering stuff. It was fully immersive, but it's also under construction. There's music playing and there's people hammering stuff and there's trash on the ground. So we were completely blown away and completely out of the trick because it was under construction. So imagine once the lights go down a little bit and they have everything, perfectly in place, it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds really awesome.
I was going to say something that I don't even think you guys even know. I just hired, and I don't know how things happen, but they do happen. I actually have a Hollywood special effects makeup artist working for us this year who worked on Black Panther, Guardians of the Galaxy, Walking Dead. I'm not kidding. She's related to one of my ex-coworkers who happens to be in between movie shoots. She is the person that does special effects makeup. She's going to be doing all. Yes, this is awesome. I was blown away that I don't know. I'm struggling. I'm having to build my team from scratch, and the Houston area, roughly 7 haunted houses around, and they're so spread out. And Billy and I, we know one of them really well. We're friends with. It's an awesome haunt. Just to give you an idea, Dallas-Fort Worth have about 25 haunts. We only have 7. There's not a lot around, so it's not like you can go just go, hey, I need a special effects makeup artist. So you're having to build and train your people. I had to bring my right-hand person and another really awesome employee, his girlfriend, down and literally move them here from Dallas to make this happen. I had to bring a guy from New Orleans to help build because there's just no one here. But I fell into an amazing makeup artist that's going to help us this year. She's going to do the line actors. There's actors that go out and entertain the crowd while they're in line, which the line shouldn't be that long. They're going to be in Hollywood level makeup. It's going to be amazing. So that's just another level. And then what Billy was talking about is when you see it with the lights on, it's really cool. When late in the afternoon, when we're done doing construction and Justin starts working on his lighting and turns the lights off, it's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. The lighting is everything in the haunt. Lighting and sound, it's just as important as your sets. And it's like another planet at that point.
I should get my outfit and go there. I'm like the Viking pirate.
Oh man, you had me
Awesome.
at Walking Dead, because that is my realm over there. So I'm sure you guys have already answered this, and maybe I just missed it. And I know that pirates is what you wanted to do. So what kind of was the whole inspiration behind the story? Because you said the backstory and everything really makes a haunt good and the immersive experience and stuff. So what kind of was the inspiration to go with the whole pirate theme and creating the backstory.
With haunted houses in the Houston area, they all seem to have a lot of the same type of characters or genres. Clowns. There's an overabundance of clowns, which everyone's scared of clowns, and Satan asylums, and a little bit of mix here and there's some that are really, really good at clowns, and then some aren't so good at clowns, and it's just like, there's so many things that are scary out there. And one thing that I being on the water, having actually history, deep-rooted history, Jean Lafitte was literally stationed right down the street from us, not that far. With Galveston being there, I mean, we have a history there, and I wanted to bring scary back to pirates, because Disney did a fabulous job with the movies, but that's not pirates. And what I've discovered in doing my research, I've seen every awful pirate movie there is. I think the budget for pirate movies is so expensive, there's not a lot of good ones. Only Disney could afford to do it. And then what's the one with Gina Davis? And it's really good, that bombed in the box office. I can't remember it. But there's only
I actually thought it was a good movie.
Yes. Yeah.
Cutthroat Island.
Cutthroat Island. Excellent movie. Go watch it again. I rewatched it because I like to do research. It's awesome. But somehow it didn't take back then. But all the movies, there's not that scary aspect. If you read the real history on pirates, they're nasty people, and that's what we really wanted to do. Here it's all laid out here. We've got location, that's right there. We've got history with them. It's an original idea in the area, and why the hell not?
Wow. Well, I do know that I posted the websites on here, and also where you can get tickets for the September 18th event. I believe it's Saturday, September 18th. Mm-hmm. Is there a time that's going to start, or?
It's going 12 to 6, and then that 12 to 1 hour is going to be the behind the scenes. So, and then depending, because vendors being who they are, sometimes they'll show up early, sometimes they'll show up late. If you show up and you want to buy something from the vendors and you're there a little early, then we're not that strict. It's an outdoor festival. We're selling because when we set it up through the city, basically we got this parking lot that's this big and we can fit that many vendors in. So that's how many vendor spaces we're selling. And then at one point in the last few weeks, we found out that the city of Texas City is actually doing their own sort of like Fireman's Games event, like one block over. So we've got street closure and some other amenities that we didn't know we had when we opened up. So we could actually fit some more vendor booths in if we sell out. So which we're kind of trending towards right now. And then so we're. If you want a space at this point right now, you can get one. You're pretty good. If you wait a week or two, we probably won't, because it's just I'm selling 2 or 3 spaces a day at this point, which is trending pretty good for the middle of like COVID peak. It started off real strong and then started to taper off, and then it's kind of been at a trickle, but that trickle's been steady. So you definitely want to get your VIP tickets early, because those are a strict limit. We only have so long that we can run. We can only run so many people through it. There is a physical stop. Like at this point, no more people can come through, because we've got to, Craig's got to open his haunt to scare people with. So once those are gone, they're gone. There won't be any extras or anything held back.
Well, I know a ton of authors, but being outside, it's kind of hard for an author to judge on the weather, because heat, rain, that can ruin books. So I know it's hard for authors, but I'm sure there's a couple that I'm pretty sure would be interested in signing up.
Send them our way.
The cool thing about this street, the reason why I'm a 3rd generation business owner in Texas City, but my grandmother, who's 98, still alive, had the grocery store on that street. It was the old downtown, and they're trying to revitalize it. And we're very, very open to me moving down there and did a lot of things. But the cool thing about that street is we literally could shut down the street and throw festivals anytime we want. And so this is just the start of it. So my goal is to eventually do more with these guys where we turn into even bigger event. That day's going to be kind of wacky because literally there's the firefighter games next to it. So if haunt's not your thing, you can go to the booth, do your booth thing, and you can go watch firemen shoot water hoses or whatever they do right next to it. So it's going to be quite entertaining. When the city told me that was going on, and I mean, they were like very supportive. I was like, so where are you putting those guys? And they said, not in front of you. I'm like, that's all I need to hear. So it's going to be quite an event. But what I visualize on that street, because we have bars, we have restaurants, we have an outdoor country bar there. We have I think they may be opening a hookah bar there. There's lots of things to do on that street. They're missing the entertainment side, and that's where we come in. But we're going to turn this every year into bigger and bigger and bigger thing to make this happen. On the tickets, so those are the grand opening tickets. I do want to mention the way we're doing this is different. So grand opening, it's old school. You buy your ticket, you get in line, you go in the haunted house. The regular haunt season starts the 24th, and it's Friday, Saturdays, all the way through to the beginning of November with Halloween on Sunday and a couple Thursdays at the end of October. Those you will book online, same website through me, not through these guys' thing. They are timed tickets. This is a pretty unique thing that happened because of COVID. They've been doing this escape room business forever. Haunted houses have always had this thing where you buy a ticket and you go sit in line for an hour and a half. 30 minutes is fun because you get entertained and all that. About an hour, you get tired, and an hour and a half, you're like, okay, I'm ready to go. So that's always been the weakness with haunted houses. So what I've always wanted to do is what's called time ticketing, but everybody's telling me not to do it. Well, COVID happened, and you had to figure out how to spread your crowds out in the haunted houses. So last year, a lot of haunted houses took this on. You go online, we open at 7, we close at roughly midnight. You buy a ticket at 7, you show up between 7 and 7:30, and you go in. So it's like you literally are VIP every ticket. So if you buy an 8:30 ticket, you come between 8:30 and 9. We only run 600 people a night through there. So you're going to have about a 30-minute wait. You're not have to wait forever. You've got your tickets. You got a fast pass, basically. Everyone's a fast pass. Everyone's a VIP. We're not doing VIPs. So this is something that once the haunted house industry started doing it, they loved it because you can manage your crowds. You know how many people are coming. You know how many employees to have. You don't have to take cash. It's a wonderful way of doing it. And I think it's really nice for the customer side of things too. So we do have 2 sets of tickets. So this one's our priority right now, opening up the haunt season. If you can't make it the 18th, you go on there, you can book them. They're already on there. Technically, you could buy tickets now. And it's a nice way to do it.
Definitely. And one of the things that I thought was interesting going back was how I think your father guided you with the cancer, with saying, hey, I've done everything that I want, and you saying, hey, this is what I want, let me do it. Because being a cancer survivor and going through it for the 4th time is like, hey, I'm doing what I want. I'm enjoying life. I'm doing shows. I'm going to conventions. I'm having fun. I mean, that's the main thing. Just have fun and listen to other people. I mean, there's going to be messages no matter who you're talking with. It's going to get into your head one way or the other. So I give you a lot of kudos for that.
Thank you.
And Amy, you're sitting there thinking.
I am. I'm not even going to lie. I'm on, to buy my ticket because I like I know you guys are just now meeting me and I'm, you guys are like, oh, this chick's such a hot mess. I'm sorry. Anyways, at least I own it. Okay. Anyways, so I'm literally on your checkout to buy, the haunted house attraction tickets. And I will say that I really like the idea of picking your time slot because you know, and I used to go before I had kids and, you know, forever ago, you used to like show up, you'd wait in line, you would go at like, I don't know, 8, and then you probably wouldn't even get through the house till 10, right? And then you're like, your whole evening is waiting in line to go through this haunted house. And it was like 10 or 15 minutes. And you're like, what? I just waited 2 hours. Like, give me something, you know, something like that. So I really like the idea of it being like time structured like that. You're only going to do so many people a day. You select the time that works. You can show up. You have a 30-minute window, you know, to show up. I think that makes it more convenient but flexible. And so I find that very attractive. And so I'm very excited. Okay. Like I'm just going to hit the buy now button. Like it's just, Greg, you distracted me. I was going to hit buy now and you distracted me, man. Come on. Oh my gosh. I love that. So
this show is dangerous for Amy. I mean,
it really,
a couple of weeks ago, she was planning to go to New York, go to one of the conventions up there.
Yeah, it truly is really dangerous for me. I don't like. Okay, background on me because y'all don't know me. So let me just introduce you to me. I love haunted houses, horror movies. Walking Dead, zombies, creepy and gory is like my thing. Okay. CJ, who isn't here because she had a migraine, that's not her thing. And so me being the hot mess person that I am, have pretty much told her I'm going to put her in a straitjacket, push her on a dolly through this house because she does not do creepy or anything like that. And that's just, you know, I have a twisted way of thinking, but to me that is fun. Like it's torturous and fun for me in a sixth sense. But I mean, I am just excited. And then when I heard about, you know, Scary Dad, because I've heard of Scary Dad before. I hear that actually all the time when I talk to people at different Comic-Cons. They talk about, you know, Scary Dad. And I'm like, what? You know, the ones that come as, you know, Freddy Krueger or things like that. And so I was like, man, I need to like know this. So when Greg told me Scary Dad was coming, I was like, oh my gosh, Greg. Like, so that's a background of me. I'm a lot to take in, but I am a twisted mind. So just, you know, food for thought on that one. But yes, I am about to hit my buy now, Greg. You distracted me in my enjoyment. But I mean, you also, okay, so you mentioned special effects. Okay, hold on. I'm going to wait on buy my ticket now. I'm going to wait because I have a train of thought. So on your special effects makeup artist that you have coming, I mean, I figured you always have like a makeup artist or you kind of not train, but help your actors do their own creepy makeup because it's like an art to do something like that. So generally speaking, your people that are getting the special effects makeup, how long does that take them? Like, do they spend all day getting ready for your nighttime like show, or how does that work? Because it's
That's a good question. That's a good question. So there's different kind, and I'm not a makeup person. I build props and
I'm sorry.
stuff like that.
I'm sorry.
I understand it now. I've been educated well. I'm soaking it in as much as I can from everywhere I can. So there's several kinds of makeup. There are people that are on haunt sites and things that like to do makeup and take TikTok videos of themselves doing funny stuff and all that. You know, they probably spent 8 hours working on it, right? And then there's the movie level, which they're spending hours on these folks because it's high detail. Haunted houses is more theatrical. A haunted house is just a theater. It is a walk-through theater, okay? So the makeup is more theatrical. It's more drastic. It's less detailed. But there's different levels. So you have masks. You could do latex prosthetics where they glue them on your face. There's half masks, which are preferred by a lot of haunters because you got to run around in this stuff. You got to be able to breathe. And then there's even like silicone masks, which literally form to your face and they move with your face. But if you ever put one on, it's about 10 pounds on your head. And if you're claustrophobic, it is no good. So what you do from a movie perspective, when I'm talking to this team, you know, that movie level quality of the people that are going to be walking through the lines, you know, they're going to show up a couple hours early. So they may be in the makeup chair for 2 to 4 hours, depending on what kind of level of stuff we're doing. You can't do that in a haunted house. And we're a small haunted house, square foot wise. It doesn't seem like it when you walk through because we use a lot of tricks to optical illusions to make it bigger than it is. We go really tall. We're probably the tallest haunted house. We're not wide. So you have to do the makeup on these people. They show up at 5, you're going live at 7. So
Okay.
you got to whip them through. So we use, especially because of COVID. COVID changed the game and everything. With COVID, it's going to be pretty much airbrush because you don't want to do a lot of contact on people's faces, okay? Because you don't know what they got and all that. We'll temperature check the employees and all that mess, but you know, so they use a lot of stencils. They spray. There's a lot of half masks, say like a half skull, but then maybe they black out the eyes and underneath. There's some tricks to that, but it's speed. So we'll have a team of 3 people. We'll have 2 people doing that, and then we do what's called hero level, which would be the Hollywood style stuff that's out front. Because that's the people you're going to take pictures with. When you're in line, you get entertained by them, but when you exit out of the hunt, we have, of course, just like Disney or anything else, you got your merchandise booth there. We have 4 shirts. We're going to have 3 different styles of hats, but you also could pay $5, and we built literally for the escape room games. Is, you know, if you ever play escape room game, when you finish the game, you always take a group picture. It's their kind of culture thing. So we built literally a photo op ship. You look like you're on a ship. You have a wheel and everything. We have a giant mass up there with their sail with our logo on and all this stuff. So you give us $5, we got somebody over there. You hand the phone. We'll take 400 pictures real quick for you with 2 of these people. So you're posing with the hero level makeup. You get this really cool picture. It's on your phone because nobody wants a printed out piece of paper anymore. And you take them with you, you go blast them all over the place. So it is a different style of makeup. And that's what we've had to talk to this girl. We had to explain to her, hey, this is how we do it. So she could under speed level, because you can't sit there and do 4 hours of makeup on 7 people. Big haunts have about 100, 120 people. It's impossible.
Wow.
Yeah, that would be definitely quite a bit. So,
oh, by the way,
and,
real quick, we're still auditioning. So, if you guys are looking for a side job,
okay. You had me at audition, man. You had me at audition. Like, come on.
I do have
tickets.
Oh, Amy, you're gonna have to find my photo.
so basically, we're
you're
trying
my
to get
technician.
We're trying to get about up to about 35 people signed up. What happens in haunted houses, people don't understand how hard it is and how grueling it is. It's a lot of work. It's physical.
Yeah.
You're running around, you're in makeup, you're in especially pirate costumes, they're a little heavy. And so you're going to dwindle down for the season. We do pay, and we're going to give weekly bonuses for the actor of the week. But we are looking. You go. All you have to do is go to our Facebook. There's a Terror Isle on Facebook. You can go and you can apply. It is not hard to become in there, as long as you know you're not a convicted felon and you've got a little bit of acting skills. We're going to train you. We're going to supply you the makeup, the costumes, and you're going to get trained by Justin, who is a master in theater arts that's done 10 years of haunt. He's going to teach you how to be a haunt actor. So if you ever wanted to be in this and you're down in the Galveston County area, please hit us up, because we've got about a dozen people right now. We're trying to fill it in, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And once you get into it, if you've ever scared people in any kind of world like this, it's addictive. You'll love it. So we're looking people.
And what days is this? I got to think about this now.
I'm going to send CJ. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go, but I'm going to send CJ with me and not tell her what we're doing. You know, that's how this is going to work.
There you go.
Well, I'm in for working with them. Hell, that would be more fun scaring people.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I mean,
it is addicting. It's fun.
I believe that. Yes, I totally believe that. Okay, all right. I felt like that was an open invitation for me, so I will be doing that because that is my thing for sure. But no, man. Okay, so it's like airbrush and stencils, and you have like masks and prosthetics. Like Anubis was saying, like this is getting better by the minute. Anubis is like my BFF. We talk. Yeah. We sound like drunken fools together because we talk about tequila all the time when he pops on. So he's my drunken BFF. But okay, so man, I am just like, I wish it was time to go. Like, I mean, can't contain myself. So I want to go back to the escape room adventures that you have built in within,
Sure.
right? Because that's pretty cool. And you said that there was an option where you can have. I want to make sure I heard this right. Like where you can be scared while you're doing the escape room. Is that an option or no?
Yep.
Oh.
So there's 3 escape rooms in there. A typical escape room in the Houston area, and most there's like one single room. So, for instance, we have one escape room game that's 6 rooms. It goes, it's quite long, and within it, you're solving puzzles. They're all embedded inside the haunt. It looks like it's part of the haunt. We got a company out of Dallas that builds them for all kinds of national companies. They're all custom too. These aren't like, if you're an escape room enthusiast, it's taken forever. They're about 6 months behind schedule because every one of our games is custom made. If you've played games, you're like, oh, I know how that puzzle works. I can play that one because I've done a million of these escape rooms. You're not going to do that with ours because everything has been custom fabricated. It ain't cheap to do it that way, by the way. But it makes it where it is so unique that if you're in that world, you're going to love this. And also us having multiple chambers of rooms instead of just one or maybe 1 to 2 in that. Within it, we have all our animatronics that stay there permanently. You could pay a little extra, not much. I'm probably going to charge, I didn't set the price on that part, but maybe $5 or something like that. Every single escape game has a game master. So we have 3 games and 3 game masters. They're upstairs in a Vegas-style security room with all these cameras so they can see every move. So as they're doing it, like a dungeon master in the D&D world, they're help with clues. They help guide if you have, there's cameras and microphones so you can talk back and forth. But also, if you want to go with that scarier option, they have hand triggers up there. They're literally pushing buttons to scare you while you're going through it, which just gives a little extra edge if somebody wants to go that way. Now, I think, honestly, this could morph into another thing where we do the whole haunt as one single escape room game, and we bring actors in, and we take it up a notch. It's going to be tough playing the games. We'll probably have to lower the game level skill because we're increasing the scare. There's got to be a balance. But we may create something that really hasn't been done, and that's morphing those 2 worlds together. We got to get our feet wet on doing these 2, but we're going to get bored, and we're going to come with something wacky like that.
Man, I love that. So I've actually never done an escape room, but I figure if I'm going to do one, I might as well go big or go home, right?
Yeah.
And like do it while under pressure and being scared, not knowing what the hell's going to pop out at me, right? I mean, that's like the ultimate test. So I might as well just go big or go home. That's for sure.
Well, and the fun part about the escape rooms is all of the games are tied into the legend of Terror Isle as well.
Ooh, okay.
So, so that's, again, not going to give anything away, but the characters that are haunting Terror Isle are the ones that you have to defeat and outsmart, and that are attempting to drown you in the games. So you can do the games, you can do the haunt, and then come back and do the games like after the season's over, and it's kind of a continuation, or it's a deeper dive into the legend. So that's pretty cool.
That's like brilliant. That is so brilliant to like combine them, and just adding the scare factor in there. I'm just over here in awe because that truly is brilliant. I never would have thought of that. That's great.
Well, with creating the backstory, what I want to know is, have you published the book yet?
I need to actually get that out before the date. I was waiting. He sent me a whole bunch of photos and stuff for art and for promos and stuff. So I'm going to get the best cover and get that printed out, because that'll be part of the VIP, I believe, and part of the merch booth as well. So
nice, man. This sounds like an event that's meant.
We always talked about that. I told Billy, I said, Billy, if you make the book, you sell it, it's all yours because you made the story. So I got some pictures for you, buddy. So yeah, the other thing with the escape room games is the way we have this set up. It's really, if you're in a business or something like that, escape room games are massive for team building. So you can bring, or, you know, you want to do a party or whatever. The way we have this set up is our front room is where you could have a meeting, like a corporate meeting for an hour, and then you go play the escape room games. We can have it catered. It's BYOB, so you don't have to pay for beer or anything like that. So there you go. Bring your own tequila.
See, there you go. You had me. Okay, man. You should have led with that. I mean, I'm sold already.
You can literally shut the whole place down and have your, you know, Christmas party or whatever like that on there too, because we got a whole huge room up front. This year we won't have the room decked out. It's got a cool entrance. It has the ship and it has the merch booth, but come escape room season, that thing's gonna look like a jungle when we get done with it. But yeah, you're gonna be able to go in and you know, this is for adults. It's not a children's thing. That's Chuck E. Cheese. So we have it set up where you can have it catered. Even in the insurance business, I have restaurant connections, so I can have food brought in. You can BYOB. You can have a giant party when you're done with your party, eating and all that. And then you can go play your games for an hour, and we can shut the whole place down too. So that's a whole other angle for you.
Wow, man. I mean, this whole thing is just becoming this whole like massive thing, like structure and everything, and I love it. And it's just so creative, and it truly is brilliant. I mean, combining the two and adding a scary element into escape rooms, I mean, it's just that really is brilliant. Like, oh man, that's gonna be so cool. Like, I'm excited. This is definitely an event like you are not gonna want to miss this haunted house or escape room like at all. This is definitely, for me, this like makes my scary season. Like, and I haven't even gone to it yet, you know? So I'm gonna go buy my ticket. Greg, stop talking to me. Greg, stop talking to me.
Did I mention we have a giant shark?
Dude, no, you didn't. Like, dude, oh my gosh, you just got to keep adding and throwing stuff out there. I'm gonna throw money at
like
you,
the
man.
Size of his head's like the size of a car. Just put it.
Oh my gosh! Just take my money, okay? Like, you don't have to convince me.
It's awesome. So yeah, for those of you who want to come to the festival, like I said, we're doing. You know, you can go to Terral website. You can go to the scarydadcon.com because that's where we're selling all this stuff. If you want to be a vendor, you know, there's an application, so we make sure that, you know, whoever's applying for it, you know, go in. It's only $55 for a 10 by 10 foot space. So like I said, we were very much not. We were trying to make it as accessible to everybody as we could. This again was not a moneymaker for Scary Dad over here. This was a celebration for Craig. So it was we did it. We priced everything to where we show up and everybody can have a good time, and nobody's really that worried about their tent fee and all of that stuff. They just show up. Vendors do need to bring your own tents and tables and chairs and stuff because we're a haunted house. We're not an events.
You're not a convention
facility or a convention center. So I want to make sure because just like with every time somebody, the question that anybody asks about it is, do I have to bring a tent? And yes, you do. And do you have to bring a table? Yes. You know, we will have electricity for you and the setups and everything, but $55. So if you sell, you know, and you're interested, go to the website. Tickets, I mean, spaces will be on sale until they're not anymore, and then you'll get a nice little sold out space. As far as tickets go, you can go and you can pile up. You can get your VIP, you can get your standalone haunt, you can get your haunt plus festival. It's all there. So just make sure that you get, especially the VIPs and the vendor spaces before they're sold out. And then nice. We're gonna have live music. We've got a couple food trucks booked. We got a snow cone truck booked. Like I said, we're working on getting some acrobats and different street performers in addition to the pirates and those guys. There's a festival going on right next door, so it's kind of just more bang for your buck. You can just keep on walking down and seeing what's what's going on in the world. So it's going to be a fun weekend. It's going to be really pretty awesome. So
yeah, this definitely
Yeah.
sounds amazing. And snow cones, hey, Anubis, me and you can put our liquor in that, man. I mean, I'm just saying. No one has to know what's in my snow cone. Don't ask, okay? Don't ask.
And for y'all up north, just so you know, down here in Houston and Texas City area, it's called sweat timber for a reason.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's hot.
Those snow cones are going to sell at 11 o'clock at night. It's still 80 something at 11 o'clock at night here.
It's more manageable, at 8 o'clock at night, but you still want a snow cone. I mean, I'm not even going to lie. You're definitely going to want that. Well, man, you guys, thank you so much for coming on. I mean, I'm super excited about what you guys have going on and everything. And I will be down there to support you 100%. I will leave my kids at home for sure. I will find someone to watch my kids, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to make Greg come. And, if you see CJ in a straitjacket, just ignore her. Okay. Like, she's fine. I promise. No harm will come to her during this whole thing. I promise. This video, I will have proof of it though. I mean, I will share that for sure. But no, I mean, thank you guys so much for coming on and sharing your event and your passion and creativity and brilliance with us. I truly appreciate it. I really do.
Okay, here's a
Thank you,
question
guys.
for you. This is one that definitely, well, not that one.
No,
People
Mom
are
Marilla.
talking, is it older kid appropriate? I guess older kid meaning maybe 15,
Teenager,
14,
I would say.
teenager.
Yeah. So there's tasteful scary, and then there's untasteful scary. Ours is tasteful. It's I don't know. Maybe I'm a little jitty because I'm a haunt guy. My kids went through haunted houses at 10. I see a lot of websites say 12 and up. It's your kids. It's
Given
Yeah.
the story, I would say 12 or 13 is probably a safe line.
Yeah.
If you know your kids and you want to go lower than that, then it's
they're
it's not 21 and up or anything. It's not that bad.
no, it's not an
your
extreme haunt, so that's not it.
Yeah.
And our actors are trained. Our actors are not going to go target, small children because that's just ridiculous. They're going to go for the biggest dude in there that's trying to act tough.
Nice. I love that.
Mombirella, I will post the events. For some reason, Facebook will not allow me to post into groups from this site. And obviously from other sites, Facebook won't allow people to post in groups, so I'll do it later. It is on our YouTube and it is on our Twitch, but I will add it to the Facebook chat for sure. But anyway, we have definitely crossed our hour here, which is unusual for us. We usually hit 45 minutes, 50 minutes. But we love conventions.
Excited.
We love haunted stuff. We love everything.
Everything that you guys are doing is totally what Amy is all about. Okay, like it truly is. I have a deep appreciation for you guys. So, like I said, I'll say it again. Thank you so much for coming on, and you guys are welcome back anytime because we can have another hour-long conversation. Plus, if we need to about this, I mean, I can go on all day. I mean, I'm being cut off, but still.
But I think y'all also have other events, which we'll be happy to share for y'all easily.
Absolutely, we'll let you know whenever they pop up, and because we got some stuff coming up in October, and then some stuff. Things are rolling. So Scott could speak more to that, but thanks for having us, and we're glad to be on.
Thank you for coming, and we are gonna hit the button here. So everyone have a good night, and we will see you on. Well, we won't see you on Thursday, but we will definitely see you on Saturday.
Yep.
Have a good one, everyone.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye.